door I came out of. First time I saw it, my father showed it to me. He was a janitor. People look down on him, on our family. We all know the philosophy of the pack. Everyone contributes to the survival of the silo, but a janitor is still a janitor. When I was 14, I got into a conflict with one of my classmates, Richard Elliott. One day I get to school and Richard Elliott's crying. Seems his father's been reassigned to a job on 125 and they have to move. Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
So my issue with this was everybody's like, Sims's dad is a janitor. And then all of a sudden, this other kid who had an issue with Sims is shuffled off to a different place. Wouldn't the rumor mill start of like, how did that issue get taken care of by a lowly janitor?
Heck, I mean, even if they didn't know that it was connected to the lonely janitor, the kid's family would be like, why did we get moved here? Like, it seems like the person that our job isn't needed here. Like, why did we get moved? And then like, you know, when you get like offended by someone, you start like rapidly pulling in new ideas and like speculating on what went wrong. Mm-hmm. I think that rumor, exactly you said, that rumor mill would churn. That rumor mill would churn because like that kid's family would start asking other people, like, what happened? Do you know what happened? Why did we get moved? Like, why did our lives go from upper mids to deep, like the top of the deep down? Mm-hmm. Like, what the heck? I think that would churn and people would eventually figure out like, it's like Sims' dad had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just couldn't imagine people not talking.
That's right.
So was it a good move for Sims' dad to exercise his power for a minor bullying problem in school?
Well, I guess the issue is the way they did it. Like, if Sims' dad had just made the kid fall off the staircase, then problem solved, and the family doesn't get disrupted, right. And so no questions are asked.
Yeah, so very interesting. Somehow, the Section 31, the janitor's closet, whatever you want to call it, of the silo, is able to exercise power in this way, but not get found out.
That's right.
Maybe rumors do swirl, but nobody can put a finger on like what happened.
And to tie this to what we said earlier, that there's like 10,000-ish people, like I can imagine if people disappear in a population of 1 billion, like you're not going to notice there's 1 billion people. But when you have these like small town size communities, like people will hear about stuff. People will say stuff. Like there's enough networking going on that the rumor mill is enough to cover everyone. So peculiar that in this small population, judicial feels very comfortable just making things happen, whatever they want.
Right. And is judicial and janitor's closet, are they the same?
That's a good point.
Maybe they're kind of connected in a way, but it seems like maybe they're different.
Seems like judicial is what the public knows about, but then there's a real secret person behind the scenes that's pulling the strings.
So in Starfleet, there is Starfleet intelligence, which would be analogous to judicial. Mm-hmm. And Section 31, which nobody knows about, is analogous to the janitor's closet.
Right. They just handle things that need to be done, that is ugly, that's not supposed to be seen, but needs to happen, so you do it quietly.
Right. And they're super good at it because nobody knows.
You know what else Sims doesn't know? His dad wasn't a janitor. His dad was a custodian. Right? I mean, janitors live off site, come in to clean, leave. Robert, everyone in the silo lives in the silo. Therefore, the dad must have been a custodian.
Wait, that's the difference?
I think so.
That actually makes sense.
I've now said it very assertively.
That sounds so reasonable, because a custodian is like you're taking care of a place, whereas a janitor is like
you clean
and you're out.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. So they're all custodians because they're custodians of the silo.
That's right. But Sims here, he's like, my dad's a janitor. Like, you weren't listening to your dad. like you also disrespect. Like, no, give him the proper credit. He's a custodian.
That's right. In fact, we have decided that in the silo, custodians, janitors, people who are cleaning are not just, oh, you're a cleaner. It's like critical job. You got mold, waste, grime, like all of these things could adversely affect all kinds of life support systems in the silo.
If you get a trash bin that's sitting around too long, it's sitting around dirty, could you develop some type of bacteria, something that makes people sick? Mm-hmm. And now if they're sick, if that's like some type of infection that spreads, like you have a major like health crisis on hand. Mm-hmm. So like judicial says that they're super powerful, super important. They're the ones that make the silo work. But actually everyone makes the silo work.
Right.
And like everyone should be appreciated for their roles, and the custodial staff are severely underappreciated.
I mean, severely. Because think about it, in the modern day, if you get black mold in your house, typically you move, and sometimes it's condemned, destroyed, and brought back up, rebuilt.
Right.
You don't have that option in the silo. You just cannot have these problems.
I mean, what do you do with black mold if you don't destroy the whole house? You still rip out that chunk of the house,
That's right.
and that mold gets sent somewhere. I actually don't know. But in the silo, where would you send that? Like,
right.
All the solutions have to be contained in the silo.
Right. And if it's like in the ventilation system, or if it's in some sort of inconvenient location, it could be such a pain in the ass.
The ventilation system, not only a pain in the ass, but if it spreads around to everyone's lungs, like you could rapidly get some bad stuff dispersed.
So maybe, this is more in line with, the mechanical people, super important, disrespected. Janitors, super important, disrespected. What the fuck's going on here, Silo? Okay. As a follow-on to this, listen to who the most important job is in the silo.
If I went through that door, I could never tell anyone what was on the other side. They might think that I was nothing more than a bookkeeper or a janitor. But I would know the truth, that the people behind that door do the most important work of the silo. Work that keeps 10,000 people alive.
So when I heard Sims say this, I was like, are they farmers behind the janitor's door?
That's right, because the farmers are feeding everyone.
They're feeding everyone.
They're keeping everyone alive.
They're literally keeping everybody alive with food.
Yeah, I mean, are they doctors? Like, that's also keeping everyone alive.
Like, what the heck did they do? That's the thing.
Important work at door. Do the most important work of the silo. Work that keeps 10,000 people alive.
I mean, there's some kind of maybe internal spy police force thing, but there's no way they're more important than farmers or doctors or mechanical. No way.
No way. Because mechanical, you need the power so that everyone lives. Doctors, you need people to take care of people so that everyone lives. Farmers, you need to make food so that everyone lives. And your Sims, I've got the important job.
I got the important job. Okay.
I do the
Sims.
shadow work behind the scenes, and I make people disappear. Me.
I do it. Me and my dad. My school. In my school, I had a bully. My dad made him go away.
Now I'm the most important.
It's me. Okay, Sims.
Okay, Sims.
Okay.